Every man, woman, and child alive should see the desert one time before they die. Nothing at all for miles around. Nothing but sand and rocks and cactus and blue sky. Not a soul in sight. No sirens. No car alarms. Nobody honking at you. No madman cursing or pissing on the streets. You find the silence out there. You find the peace. You can find God.
I did not realize this movie was that old.
Oh yeah.
This movie stands the test of time.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does.
Wow. I was thinking 2012, not 02.
Oh no, 2002.
Wow.
Yep, I remember this movie when it came out. I think I saw this in the theater, but I'm not entirely sure.
This is my first time seeing it.
Yeah.
And
We were supposed
had
to do this a few
small
weeks ago.
conversation about it, and I loved it.
We were supposed to do this movie a few weeks ago, but things happened and I had to be at work, and then it just kind of got away. And this is a night where Lee isn't joining us, so we're gonna go back and revisit this one and talk about it at length. Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight to you. Tell me your opening thoughts about this.
I can't say there's not really any movie out there where I can look at Edward Norton and say awful job.
Not at all. Not at all.
Is, I think that I think that he is a better actor than history has given him credit for. I think
Agreed.
that he could have been in so many bigger movies than he was in.
Yeah.
Like American History X
Is
like,
another one. Yeah, it's
that
fantastic.
movie is fantastic. Barry Pepper, he is a
He's
one-role
okay.
actor.
He's okay.
He's a one-role actor. He's always Italian mafia.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
I agree.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Rip, go and rest in peace. Always a fantastic actor. And then you have Rosario Dawson. Let me tell you, aside from Men in Black 2, which
Love it or hate it. It doesn't.
yeah, she wasn't the best in that.
No.
Crazy thing is, this movie came out the same year
As Men in Black 2.
2.
Yeah. What a difference.
And she crushed it in this. She crushed it. Wow. She crushed it in this. Whereas in Men in Black 2, it was like a totally different actress. Anna Paquin? What?
I know.
Okay. When I was introduced to Anna Paquin, it was X-Men.
Yeah.
Around the same time frame as this, again. But the original X-Men was what, 99?
98, 99, somewhere in there.
Something like that.
Something like that.
So, in the same time frame, so you see Anna Paquin in X-Men, then you see her in this, and you're like, oh my, what a different actress. She played a much more mature role in this. Not intelligence-wise and not emotional. Just physically, she was like...
Her performance in this is bar none. Her performance in this
it
movie is amazing.
It was not what I was expecting from her.
Not at all. Not at all. Because when you think Rogue, it's like, okay, Rogue, sure. But in this, completely different character. Didn't see this coming. I mean, especially after something like 99 X-Men, to say Anna Paquin is going to be in this movie and she's going to play a role like this. We'll get into it. What?
I was honestly, by the end of the film, I was expecting something to happen. And I was thoroughly shocked that nothing did.
Yes.
Like the way that whole relationship ends, I was like, I was taken aback by it. But what I appreciated with the writing, because this is a Spike Lee film, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this guy is. Let me tell you. Talk about abruptly ending a scene and letting your imagination run with the rest of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
What happens to him on Monday?
Ah,
You know.
yeah.
Um,
There's gonna be problems.
this movie was all. I think I said this before. We had a quick little, 5 minutes about it. The best, aside from Edward Norton, the best character in this movie was the dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
100%.
dialogue was bar none. I know we went over it for a hot second, but between him and Brian Cox's monologues, his monologue in the mirror in the restaurant
Yeah.
was insane.
The giant FU to New York and how he just lists. He just goes
Everything.
through a list of what is like big city New York, everything. Like it's fantastic. It's one of the
And it
better.
makes
It's one of it. It has to be like up there of one of like the best performances I've ever seen out of an actor. Is what Edward Norton does in this mirror, in this bathroom, in this movie. It's fantastic.
And it makes me think that Spike Lee had this part, or not Spike Lee directed it, but David
David Benioff.
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 It makes me, the way that Edward Norton played this off, it makes me think that they wrote this character for Edward Norton.
I could see that.
I don't see any other actor, as good as they are, even pull this off the way he pulled this off.
Not at that time. Not at that time. Not in 2002. Not at that time.
Even now, there's a few that could pull it off, maybe. But this was Edward Norton through and through.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was Edward Norton. The only other person who can monologue even somewhat as good as him is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic in this, though.
Yeah.
It was. I'm not a guy. You know me. I'm not a guy who likes a lot of language in my.
That was
movies,
my
TV
worry, because I
shows.
completely forgot that this scene was in that movie, and when I suggested it, I wasn't thinking about it. Like, I was more thinking about like the story of the drug dealer in the end, and we would discuss that. And then when it got here, I was like, oh, I forgot this was in this movie.
But when I watched it, I was like, it fits.
Yeah.
It fits.
It's
This guy's
fantastic.
going to prison next day.
Yeah.
He's pissed. He hates the world right now. He hates himself. He's taking this on the chin as best as he can. He's in his own little time, and he is just flipping the world the bird right now. And he is just telling New York, go eat it, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm being polite because
It's so
5 minutes. You said it's 5 minutes of fu. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
It's so weird too, because this movie, coming from Spike Lee, written by David Benioff, the only other filmmaker to my knowledge that can write a movie at this level would be Tarantino. And even Tarantino's dialogue in a lot of his movies, he's known for his dialogue throughout his movies. These two monologues in this movie, for me personally, it is
Fantastic.
way up there. For me, it is way up there. Just everything about them, the delivery, the performances, what they're actually saying, what they mean by what they're saying. Like, it's so important. I fell in love with this movie when I first saw it. And when it first came out in 2002, I watched this movie a million times. And I hadn't watched it in maybe 15 years. And when I put it back on, it was like, you were absolutely right when you opened this up. This movie stands the test of time. This is a fantastic, fantastic movie. In my opinion, it does not get the recognition that it deserves. I don't think Edward Norton gets the recognition as being a phenomenal actor that he deserves. He should be in a lot more things than he is. I mean, what was it? Even now, when you go back maybe 5-6 years, he was in Birdman. He was the best part of that movie when he was in it. Forget about Michael Keaton. Like, Edward Norton was the best part of that movie. Like, this man is a fantastic actor, and he should be, in my opinion, on top of the world. Like, he should be taking, at the very least, he should be taking, if he wanted to, a lot of independent roles, because this film feels very, very indie. This is not like your big blockbuster. In no time frame would this be like a massive blockbuster movie. This movie, for me, when I first saw it, was fabulous. It's still fabulous today. I love it. There are little clunks here and there with this that we'll get into, but for the most part, I love this movie. It's
I'll
amazing.
be-
It's
So I was introduced to Edward Norton with American History X. And that came out in, when did that come out? 1998. So it was around the time that he started coming into the scene. Like, he wasn't a big act. Like, he wasn't like known yet, Edward Norton. But American History X, and he crushed it on American History X.
yeah.
Then he did all his other stuff. I mean, he's been in, what else has he been in? What's like, is there a list? Of course there's a list. Why is there not a list? Glass Onion, I could have done without, to be honest. Knives Out.
Yep.
That wasn't him, though. That was more Daniel Craig that I couldn't stand in that. Did you watch Knives Out yet?
You mean Glass Onion? Because I
Knives
watched
Out,
Knives
yeah.
Out. Yeah, I have not
Oh,
seen Glass Onion yet.
Glass Onion. Okay, yeah, Glass Onion. I wasn't it was half good and half awful.
He
What
was
did
in
start
Rounders.
out?
He was in Rounders, which is a really
Yep.
good movie too. That's a fantastic movie. Death to Smoochie. Like he's been even
Fight Club, American History X.
even the
Rounders.
way he played the detective in Red Dragon, I thought was fantastic. Like, yeah,
He was in the. Have you seen The People versus Larry Flint
I haven't.
with Woody Harrelson? Was it Woody Harrelson? Was it him? Yeah, Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson plays Larry Flint.
Okay.
Edward Norton was. I forgot that Edward Norton was in this film.
Yeah, I'm looking at
But
it
this
right
guy-
now. Woody Harrelson, Courtney Love. Okay.
Don't ever. This movie is awful.
Oh, is it?
It's all about Larry Flint, who was the author of Hustler,
Okay. Okay.
and it's his story. It's basically,
I know. Yeah. I
It's
know what you're
basically-
saying.
yeah. So I mean, it's the storyline is interesting. Woody Harrelson is fan. I mean, Woody Harrelson's always a good an actor in my opinion. But Edward Norton really wasn't. Like, he was a side actor in this film. He was a supporting actor. His first major role was American History X, and
Yes.
he knocked it out of the park.
He was
which then-
fantastic.
which then led to Fight Club, Keeping the Faith, which was a funny movie, and then leading up to, he was in Red Dragon, 25th Hour, The Italian Job. I mean, Kingdom of Heaven. Like, he has The Illusionist. Like, he has done The Incredible Hulk. He's done some insane stuff since then. I would think now, though, he should be at that level where he just picks and chooses what he wants to be in.
Yes.
His days of auditioning should be over.
Way past. Over. If nothing but for like between 25th Hour, American History X, and Fight Club.
And Fight Club.
Even if you're just looking at those movies, he should be able to write his own ticket. Like, there's no question. Like, I don't know. That's how I feel. That's how I've always felt about Edward Norton. I always felt like he was so underrated. He's always been so underrated. He is amazing in almost everything that he's ever touched. And like I said before, I really enjoyed what he did in Birdman. I thought that was a great movie too. Like, it's just, yeah.
Nope. I went into this movie blind, and I came out like, wow. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Lee's not here. Whenever you introduced me to a movie, I love it. Even if the movie's bad. Like, who was I talking to today? And somebody was talking about, what's his name? The wrestler on They Live.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah. I heard his name, and I'm like, what are you guys and all I could think of was They Live. And they're like, we're talking about They Live. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that movie is fantastic. Like, I did a podcast on it. It's beautiful. It is it's horrible, but it's awesome. For some reason, when Lee's like, remember this movie from like 15 years ago? And we're like, no. It's great. We watch it. No,
No.
it wasn't. I'm like, please don't make me watch another Dreamcatcher movie. Like,
Oh
I'm all.
my.
But when you say watch a movie, this movie's fantastic. Like, for example, there have been times where I've suggested things to you and you're like, I don't know, and I'm like, you're gonna like this, i.e., Lord of the Rings and Star Trek, and you came back with those and you're like, I really enjoyed these films.
Yes.
I knew you would.
You told me to watch the first Star Trek movie, and I ended up watching all three in a night.
All three of them in one night. It's like 8 hours. It's like 8 hours of Star Trek, right there.
I didn't complain. I didn't complain. I thought those were three amazing movies.
They were great. But I just, every time that you've introduced me to a movie, I'm like, or a TV show, I'm like, wow, I am so glad that I'm being introduced to this stuff. Because it's stuff that I normally, like, on my own, if I saw it, like if I saw a 25th Hour and if I saw the title or the cover of it and I didn't know the story or wasn't recommended to it, it wouldn't be one of those I was like, I want to watch that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because the cover, when you see the cover of this,
It's basic.
it's just, yeah, it doesn't really show much. It's just, what is it? It's a red cover with him and a dog, and it says the 25th Hour.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't know anything about it. What is
Nothing.
this?
No idea. And I'd have to dig into it, but with you suggesting it, which is one reason why I love doing this podcast, is being introduced to new stuff, good or bad.
Yeah.
I think you've said this before, even if the movie is bad, doing this podcast on that movie makes
it
up
good.
for it.
Yeah.
Makes
You're right.
it good.
You're right. I don't care what it is. As much as you and I both hated Dreamcatcher, it was a good movie. I loved talking about it. I don't care. I will talk about anything. So I was happy about that at the very least. But no, I'm really glad that you like this movie, and I'm really glad that we can introduce each other to new stuff. It's always fun. For me, it's always fun. I enjoy that. But
It's
yeah,
great.
I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you like this movie.
Yeah, I loved it. And making Philip Seymour Hoffman like this, like pervert almost.
A little
he's
bit.
Not there. Like he's not there, but he's there.
Yeah, he's there.
In his mind, he's all the way there.
Give him a couple of more drinks in this movie, and
he's all the way there.
He's all the way there.
I love that the rest of the guys know about it, and like Edward Norton's like, yeah, bring him on in. He's like,
go for
Who
it.
is
Edward
that?
Norton's egging him on. Yeah, go for it. Don't worry about it.
Well, what can he say? He met Rosario
Yeah.
Dawson when she was just out of high school at 18.
18. Well, at least she was 18.
Yeah, he's like, just wait 5 months, however long. No, you're still a school teacher, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. It's still weird. It's still super creepy.
Wait until you graduate. Like, I remember when I graduated high school and I was like a year out of high school and I was dating a girl who was in high school, I felt weird.
Yeah.
And I was just a year out of high school, but I still felt weird.
It's
to
weird.
Go back, like, she's like, come hang out with me on my lunch break, and I'm like, okay, so go back into my high school. It was my high school too. And people were like, what are you doing here? They knew me. What are you doing? Like, I'm dating so and so. Oh, and I was like, this is weird. So I stopped that real quick.
No, I know
I
what
was
you
only
mean.
a year out of high school. This guy's a teacher.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
No, it's not. But I will say that Anna Paquin in this, though, like,
clearly knows what she's doing. She clearly knows what she's doing.
She does, and she doesn't make it easy.
Not at all.
Because every guy in this film points it out.
Yeah.
Every guy in this film points it out.
Yep. Pretty much.
So
pretty much.
And then at the very end, she comes off like she's the innocent one, which I'm like,
like you weren't expecting this to happen at all. Come on.
You knew exactly what you were doing, and then you're sitting there in the bathroom going, "What just happened?" Like, no. No. Like, oh, you expected this. You got what you expected, and now you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie was a twist. It was beautifully executed. The just the way it was shot was fantastic. I love that you have different like scenes where you know how in Gothica like everything's blue?
Yeah.
Like in this, you get some of the blue tint. Then you, when they're in the club, then you get real life, and you get some of this, you get some of that. You get a mix of scenery.
Yes.
I enjoy that.
Yes.
I love that it all takes place in one night. I
Yeah.
love that you're getting a story. You get a lot of storytelling,
A lot. Yeah.
and it fits very, very well. It fits, and I love at the very end you get the spinning top. Did it fall or did it not fall?
We'll get there.
And I
We'll
know
get
that we
there.
have differences of opinion on that.
On
but
that,
you know
on that,
what?
which is perfectly fine. I mean,
You
it
can
can go either way.
with
It can go
and
either way.
and both work, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
You're right.
So-
You're absolutely right.
But let's get into it.
Hey everybody, Lee from Black and White Reviews here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in, checking out our conversation. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more about this specific subject or other things, check us out on our podcasting sites, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Podcasts. We're up on pretty much all of them. So yeah, thanks again for popping by, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.